Tonight, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky saying he is grateful to Russians who are not afraid to protest and who tell the truth about Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Zelensky also saying he is grateful to Maria Ovsyannikova, the Russian Channel 1 employee who held an anti-war sign interrupting one of Russia's major state television broadcasts. Here she is explaining her actions before she ran out onto that set.
What's happening now in Ukraine is a crime, and Russia is the aggressor country. And the responsibility for this aggression lies on the conscience of only one person. This man is Vladimir Putin. My father is Ukrainian, my mother is Russian, and they have never been enemies. And this necklace on my neck is a symbol of the fact that Russia must immediately stop this fratricidal war, so our fraternal nations will still be able to reconcile. Go to the rallies, and do not be afraid. They cannot arrest us all.
So joining me now is Julia Yaffe, founding partner and Washington correspondent for Puck News. I mean, Julia, wow, hello to you. That was pretty brave of her to do that. And you saw that video of the Russian Channel 1 employee protesting the war on state TV. Incredible act of bravery. What do you think when you saw that? What did you think?
I thought basically the same thing you did, which is that, I mean, this is really incredible. This is the flagship of Kremlin propaganda. Channel 1 is entirely Kremlin owned. This was somebody who worked there, who had been silent, you know, whether she had been in disagreement or agreement with the Kremlin's politics or what, you know, the lies that have been coming from the screen of the television station she worked for. And finally, it seems she'd had enough. What I thought was she's doing this at great risk to herself, that this was not going to end well for her. And she probably knew that and did it anyway.
Well, she was detained, and we hear her attorney has not been able to get in touch with his client. That's what he says.
That's right. And we know that she's been charged already for violating that law that was passed just the other week by the Russian parliament, which carries a sentence of up to 15 years for basically, the wording is something like denigrating the actions of the Russian military. You know, she must have known that. Everybody in Russia knows that, who is in the news business or in the media business, because I won't say she was in the news business. What I also thought was remarkable was that in her statement, the part you didn't play is that she said that she was sorry, that she felt great regret and shame that she had been working at Channel 1 for such a long time, that she allowed lies to come from the television screen. And she said she was ashamed that she had helped zombify the Russian people. That was also really striking to me.
That's huge. You're right to point that out. This crackdown, you know, he said she could face up to 10, 15 years. But I mean, this crackdown of free speech is so brutal. I mean, protesters have been arrested just for holding up blank signs. What is Putin so afraid of, Julia?
He doesn't want people to know what his army is actually doing in Ukraine. You know, it was one thing to send the Russian army to flatten Grozny, which for Russians was, even though it was part of Russia, was seen by many Russians as kind of foreign. It was a Muslim republic. The people weren't Slavic. And so, you know, people could kind of get used to that. When Putin sent troops and planes to Syria, it's far away, again, a Muslim country, don't really care. But this is Ukraine. This would be like the U.S. doing this to Canada, like obliterating Ottawa and Vancouver. And there are so many families like Marina Ovsyannikovas who are blended families who, you know, one person's Ukrainian, one's Russian, or they have relatives on both sides of the border, friends on both sides of the border. And when she says it's a fratricidal war, she's absolutely right. And so for Russians to see what their army is doing, that it's killing pregnant women, that it's killing children, that it's killing old people, and purposely bombing and shelling residential buildings, I don't know that they would support that. I don't know that they would stay home and that they would suffer all the economic consequences that this war has brought on the Russian people through the sanctions. Because on Russian TV, on places like Channel One, Russians are being told that there are no civilian casualties, that Russian troops are being greeted as liberators, and that they're being very careful to protect civilians, and that this war is not against the Ukrainian population, that this war is to liberate the average Ukrainian person from the so-called Nazis that have seized power in Kiev on behalf of the United States. And so when people hear that over and over again, a majority of Russians support the war. Would they support it if they knew what the Russian military was actually doing? I'm not sure that they would.
They figured out that the president of Ukraine is Jewish, and so none of it makes sense. I mean, even from the start, it's just outlandish. But he's saying the Nazi occupation. It's just bizarre. I've got to run, Julie, but go ahead. I'll give you the last word.
Okay, I was just going to say that, they've been listening to this trash for 22 years. Just in a year, Fox News was able to convince 40% of Americans that Donald Trump actually won the 2020 election. So it's actually not that hard to convince people of crazy things if you kind of wall them off, and that's all the information they're getting.
Julia, thank you very much. I appreciate you joining us. Thanks so much.